let's take a quick look at the newest wave of figures from the Legends of Dragonore line that I just got in today. This is, I think they just called it Wave 1.5, simply because all these figures are basically just alternate versions of characters we've gotten in Wave 1, with the exception of that guy. So we will be looking at Dark Magic Apprentice Oscuro, Night Hunter Pantera, Prophecy Vision Yandara, Raidor? I don't know. Fire Fury ka-rem, and Glacier Mission Barbaro. And if you don't know, this is a line of action figures from Formo Toys. They're 5.5-inch figures, clearly done in the tradition of Masters of the Universe. And I really am absolutely in love with this line, and let me say why. I've said it in other videos reviewing these figures, but I'm trying to articulate it a little bit better, because I really my appreciation for this line is actually increased since I last did a video on them. First and foremost, they're a line of action figures that look like they belong alongside He-Man and that line. They fit almost seamlessly in with them. I also love that in 2024, as a middle-aged man who's a vintage toy collector, there's something new out there that I can get excited about and wait for new waves of, and collecting a line of figures that's new but that hits me in all my feels the same way a vintage Masters of the Universe figure would. It might seem lame to anybody outside of this niche community, but that's a really exciting thing for us. And on top of that, if you're just a fan of well-made, designed, and executed action figures, I have not seen anything done this well. The sculpting is beautiful. The paintwork is immaculate. The characters are not over-designed, but they're all very, very visually engaging. And they're really, really sturdy, and not just, I've spoken about how the plastic qualities for these guys seems to be a cut above anything else out there right now, well above like Masters of the Universe Origins figures. These guys are heavier and sturdy and just solidly constructed, on top of which I didn't realize how much I missed and really appreciate this level of articulation, where you actually don't have the added knee joint and ankle joint. These guys are just stout and stocky and in that sort of like ready for battle pose. Those legs are solid, the way the original Masters of the Universe figures were. And I actually really appreciate that as a collector, keeping these guys lined up on a shelf. None of my Legends of Dragonore figures have toppled over the way basically figures for every other line I collect have at some point. Anyway, I will stop gushing about the line and let's actually take a look at the figures. All right, we will go through every one of them individually, but here is a look at all 6 figures from Wave 1.5, fresh out of the box, alongside each other here. This line came with, this wave, came with 2 bad guys and 4 good guys. The main difference being everyone is a different version of the same character as Wave 1, except for Raidor here, who is the twin brother of Onator, who I'll show a comparison of the two a little later here. Twin brother of Onator. Onator is the bad guy, he is our good guy. The other big difference between Wave 1 and Wave 1.5 is that we did not get pieces of a Build-A-Figure with any of these characters, which is a little bit of a bummer, but it's fine. I know Wave 2 will come with those Build-A-Figure pieces, and we'll have another version of the Divine Armor, I think it's called. Divine Armor of Power, something like that. Yes, I confess I already have my my pre-orders in for Wave 2. This line came with a mini-comic instead of those Build-A-Figure pieces. This comic, it's the same comic for all the figures. Fired Icemirror. It looks pretty standard. When I say standard, I mean as far as like the quality of one of these mini comics goes, as far as the artwork is concerned. I have not read this yet. There's a lot of text. Hopefully it's a fairly fleshed out backstory. I say that only because if you've been following the promos for Legends of Dragonore at all online on the Formo Toys website, there is a super basic mythology. Not anything that's too fleshed out, so I'm hoping that this comic will do that for us. And we will start with Raytor here. Raytor. He is a good guy, as I said, the good twin brother of Onator. Here is a pic of the back of his file card if you want to read it. If I didn't say it in this video, the card stock for the packaging is also of a much higher quality. It's a little thing, but I figured I'd mention it. He is a beautiful sort of matte but vibrant blue with the yellow and red armor that is, of course, removable and a softer plastic. And it says his weapon of choice on the back of the card back is a battle axe. I think on the other version of this figure, his twin brother, they call this a Morning Star. I don't know. And I was wrong about the articulation, sorry. What I meant was that it's very sturdy because there is no knee joint or ankle joint, but the lower leg does swivel. And here he is with his evil twin brother. And they look gorgeous together. There's nothing else to say about their appearance. They're beautiful. They're very eye-catching. Next up we have Yandara, specifically Prophecy Vision Yandara. And she's, you can see immediately, you see the aesthetic kind of quality of the figure being all translucent. This headpiece does come off. Let me get this out of the hand so you can see her a little bit better. It's tough to appreciate the sculpting as much on figures that are completely translucent, with the exception of her top and her boots, which are a matte pink. The headdress / helmet is very detailed, and as is her staff, which again, the translucent plastic makes it a little tough to appreciate all the details, but they are there. And here she is alongside Wave 1's version of her. Next up, we're looking at Fire Fury ka-rem. And here is his little bio, if you want to read it. And I presented him like this with his turban off because it's tough to get off, and I wanted to show you, without showing 30 seconds of me struggling to get it off of him, that the figures do have a sculpted and painted third eye under the turban, which is such a nice little touch. I've seen a lot of review videos of this figure, the Wave 1 version, where I don't think the owners of these figures knew that was a hidden feature on there. But anyway, so ka-rem from Wave 1 was also a translucent figure. This one is not as striking, but it's actually a more impressive figure because he is translucent, but they did put a wash of paint, the yellow paint, on top of him in places. It really makes him look like he's kind of made of lava, fire. He's aptly named Fire Fury. I had to check the card back. Yeah, Fire Fury ka-rem. His weapon, just like in Wave 1, is sort of like a genie's lamp to go with the genie motif. And he does come with this real cloth cape. It's a thin cloth, but it's... I only say that just because the capes on the other figures I'm about to show are much nicer. But nonetheless, there he is. And here he is with his Wave 1 counterpart, which is still... I prefer Wave 1's version of ka-rem, and I think that's just a matter of personal preference of like the color combination. But this is also a very nice version of him. Now we're looking at Night Hunter Pantera, who is probably my least favorite figure of the wave. And that's not to say it's a bad figure at all. It's just a little simple, a little basic, a little less eye-catching than everything else. So as you can see, it's, oh wait, well, let me show you this first, in case you want to read it. There is her bio. Here she is next to her Wave 1 counterpart, just so you can see the difference. They're both simple characters, simple figures compared to everything else going on in the line. But Wave 1's version of her is a little bit more, she's got a little bit more pop, not just because of the colors, but you can see some of the detail on her better. For example, the spots on her legs. That's really out of focus, sorry. This new version of her, it's even tougher to pick up the detail. But I do really like the armor and the sword color, which is sort of like a rose gold kind of color. And just like I said when reviewing her original version, it's a cool, simple design. I do think the head is a little bit big for the body. But that's really it. That's my only criticism. Other than that, it's a good figure. There's just less going on with her, so not quite as not nearly my favorite. And now we'll take a look at the main bad guy of the line, this being his Dark Magic Apprentice version. Here is his little bio. This version of Oscuro is wacky, a little bit clownish, a little bit, I don't know. There's something so ridiculous about his color combination, and it still kind of works. And somehow it all sort of fits together, but barely. We have the purple, we have the real sheer cloth in white. He's got this sort of like chest headpiece armor that's a translucent green. The staff, his sorcerer staff, is the same design as his Wave 1 staff, but it's so nice in this translucent plastic. And I don't know if we got such a wacky colored version of him this wave because of, I don't know, complaints that his Wave 1 version was a little understated, a little boring. I'm just speculating, I don't know. But you tell me. Here he is with his first iteration here. And I do like this version of him. It's crazy, but my favorite is still the PowerCon convention exclusive version of him. And last but certainly not least, we have Glacier Mission Barbaro. Here is his bio, and there he is. He comes with the same kind of shearling cape as Oscuro. He's got the all-white pants, and he does have boots now, compared to his other iterations where he has this kind of weird open-toe look. The axe and the armor is really, well, not the armor, but this plate and his helmet is that really nice metallic blue, which I think is the same as his version from the PowerCon exclusive. I will put them up here now so we can figure that out together. Here is his PowerCon exclusive. I can't tell. I think maybe this blue, yeah, is a little bit richer. And here he is with his original version. This might be my favorite. I don't know. It's a nice change in theme and color. So he's gonna really stand out on the shelf next to the other guys. And just so we can see what this amazing line looks like with everything they've given us thus far, here is Wave 1, Wave 1.5, as well as the PowerCon exclusive 3-pack. And this is just, it's a beautiful line. So yeah, I've said it probably 20 times now, but I'll say it just once more. If you're a fan of Masters of the Universe, and you grew up in the 80s and you collected and loved this kind of, this style of figure, the 5.5 muscular, stocky action figure, there is no line I've seen that does homage to that better than Legends of Dragonore. They do have pre-orders available for Wave 2, which I think is coming out probably a year from now. And in between there somewhere, they are coming out with a larger scale of dragons. They should, right? To go along with this line, that will serve as both like figures that stand up on their hind legs and hold weapons, but also have sort of like an alternate form where they can get down on all fours and these characters can ride them. So Legends of Dragonore, 2, 3, 4, 5 thumbs up. Excellent line.